Hello, and thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. I'm going to be doing the Capricorn love reading, romance relationship reading. As always, take what resonates, leave what does not, especially since this is a general reading. So we have what you may be struggling with is very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. I feel like there's some confusion on what it is that you want as far as relationships. Could be a current relationship, or what type of person that you want to have come into your life if you are single. All right. So we have the advice from the tarot. We have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. And then we have future energies, forgiving and learning. Okay. Then I feel like overall energy, we have true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. Okay. Now I'm going to grab some tarot to add to these. All right, look at this. We have the Lovers popped right out for very soon. We have the Page of Wands. And we have the Strength card with the infinity sign up above. This also can represent a Leo. All right, for advice from the tarot, we have the Devil card, which is also the Capricorn card. We have the Judgment, which is an awakening, a renewal, of revival, of hearing a message. We have the King of Wands. I always feel that it's learning from the past. Future energies coming in. We have the Queen of Wands. Time to take action for that forgiving and learning. Don't let that deception get in your way, right? That hurt. We have the King of Pentacles, stability. And then for overall energy, I feel these two. We have the Hermit, which is Virgo. And then we have the Seven of Wands, standing up for what you believe and your beliefs, right? Choosing you. So kind of true love. Okay, so overall energy, we have true love, we have the Hermit, and then we have the Seven of Wands. So I feel like it's really choosing what is best for you, like having that true love for yourself and saying, I need to choose relationships or have a relationship that is really something that I want to have, that is brings me fulfillment, brings me happiness, right? I feel for some reason that you're kind of settling for something. I feel like you're forcing something to make something work. I feel like you're trying to convince yourself that you're happy. You're trying to, because it says clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. And I feel like there's kind of a couple things that I'm feeling. Either it's you're trying to convince yourself that you're happy in a relationship or you're fulfilled in a relationship that you're really not, or that you're really not sure. Maybe you're not ready for a relationship because it says clearly decide what you want. I also feel like it could be that maybe you want to move on from a relationship, but you're just not, you don't want to, like, it's not the easiest to end a relationship, whether it's a friendship or a family member or a partnership. It could be a relationship with work, right? That you want to move on from your job. But I feel like it's not the easiest. And sometimes we're just like, oh, it'll just be easier just to stay in this situation because I really don't want to have that conversation. Because I feel like you're having trouble with that conversation with this Page of Wands. And I feel like you're not being strong in this moment, in this situation. Like you're not really deciding what you really want. Like, what do you want? What I feel like you know, but you're just not really. I feel like you're trying to ignore it, or you're not trying to really acknowledge what it is that you want in this relationship, in this situation. Um, Definitely there's a relationship that you're thinking about, that you have, because we have the Lovers right here. It could be with a Gemini, it could be with a Leo, it could be with maybe someone who has a very strong personality that you're just kind of feeling like obligated to stay in this relationship, or you're just feeling like, I feel like you're having trouble communicating your feelings. Just see, I like to go with the energy that I'm feeling, and I'm having like trouble communicating. And I like to go with the energy that I'm feeling. So I feel like that's what you're feeling, is that you're having trouble communicating your true feelings in this situation. And sometimes those are hard, especially if they're negative, especially if you want to move on, especially if you want change, if you want to leave that relationship. For those of you that are single, I feel like it's clear. It's also about maybe writing down what qualities, what type of partner that you would like to have, right? Truly figuring that out. Sometimes we're like not really sure, or we want different types of people, or we're just not clear on that. That person can't come in unless you're clear about what that person is like. It doesn't mean you have to have every little detail, but do you want somebody who, like, it is like, I just feel like it's having more of a clear vision of the type of person, because when you see that person, or you see someone who's not really fitting those qualities, that you're able to say, you know what, like, if you want somebody who is um if you want someone who that you can learn from, and you can, if you want someone who likes to communicate, okay, let's just, somebody who is emotionally available, somebody who is willing to communicate. But if you meet someone and you're physically attracted to that person, but that person is emotionally shut down, then the physical attraction is only going to last so long. And then you're going to end up in the same situation that you're in now, where you're going to end up single again, or you're going to end up in a relationship where you're like, well, trying to convince yourself that this is what you're looking for. But if you say, I really want that person who knows how to communicate, that we can talk about our feelings, that we can have the communication, that we can talk, and we can, like, I feel comfortable to talk around that person. And then you can say, you know what? I'm physically attracted to this person, but I know that they're emotionally shut down, that there really isn't going to be much else. And it's just not going to be fulfilling for me. I'm going to maybe enjoy that for a little while. And then it's going to be like, now what do I do? Right? That I know that I really want that person with that communicates well. So if you're clear with that, and you say, I really want somebody who knows how to communicate, or wants to communicate, or communicates clearly, or is emotionally available, then if you meet somebody who's not like that, you say, you know what? I think I just need to move on from this, right? That I just need to, this isn't quite the right fit for me. So it's deciding what it is that you want to have. It doesn't mean that person is, has to have every one, but kind of maybe like prioritize, write those down and say, well, this is really kind of at the top of my list, is someone who's emotionally available, somebody who likes to communicate, right? And then you can have somebody who's you're physically attracted to, or however you want to order those, right? And say, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. And then if it's not, then you're already preventing yourself from having to go through having those conversations where you're like, you know what, I knew from the beginning that this wasn't right, and I tried to convince myself, I thought this person would change, I thought I could fix this person, I thought I could help this person, but that's not really what I want. That if you want someone who is emotionally available, that's done the work on themselves, that's ready for a relationship, that's ready to put in the work and effort, then that's what you need to be clear about, and that's what you need to look, and that's what you have to stick with. um I just feel like it's saying very soon, be clear about what it is, what it is that you want. Again, if you're already in a relationship, be clear about, do we need to have more conversations, right? Maybe looking into the 5 love languages, figuring out what your love language is, communicating that to your partner, figuring out what your partner's love language is, and working on that, right? Have that communication, figuring that out, whether you are looking for someone, or it's a relationship where you're like, okay, this needs to be improved. Clearly decide, do you want to move on from this relationship, or do you want to work on this relationship? The advice from the tarot, we have engagement, and then we have the devil card, we have the judgment, and we have the king of wands. I feel like it's learning from the past, right? So that's what I feel like goes back to over here. Learning from the past, that if you're looking for communication, but you find somebody that you're physically attracted to, and you know that that's going to fizzle out, to head that off to begin with, so you don't have to put yourself or that person through that. learning from the past and saying, every time I've done that, it's always ended up the same way. That this is my chance to bring my love life, to bring my relationships to a higher level, and to have that communication, to hear the message, to get rid of the negativity, right? To not feel trapped in a situation or a relationship, to empower myself and say, this is what I want. This is what I want the relationship to be, because I'm ready to move to the next level. I'm tired of always going through beginning relationships. They only will last a couple weeks or a couple months or 6 months, maybe a year, and then it always ends up the same way. That this is your opportunity to bring those relationships to a higher level, because you're stating, okay, you're looking within yourself and you're saying, I'm going to fight for that relationship with someone who is already emotionally available, who has worked on their baggage, has gotten rid of most of it, and is ready to open up and be vulnerable in a relationship. And that's what I've done with myself. And so I'm ready. So we're both at the same level, right? Setting yourself up for success, right? Not repeating those failures that you've done in the past and learning from that, like the King of Wands, and saying, I hear the message that I don't want to get in those toxic relationships where I feel trapped, that if I see signs from the get-go that I'm going to pass on that, right? That I've already went down that route, I'm going to pass on that. Moving towards the future is forgiving and learning. Queen of Wands, taking different actions. And I feel like taking what you can from a situation and feeling more grounded and saying, okay, I know the direction that I want to go and I know what I want to have in this relationship. Forgiving and learning that if it's a relationship that you're already in, if it's a friend or a family member or a partner, and forgiving and saying, because sometimes I know that for me, I'm a Capricorn sun and a Capricorn rising. I used to hold on to a lot of things that if somebody said or did something that upset me, I would hold on to it. That person didn't realize I was holding on to it until I decided to lash out at them and say that. And they're like, you're still thinking about that? I thought we moved on from that. That didn't affect them at all, but it affected me because I kept that negativity on the inside. And if I felt that it was something that I needed to have a conversation about, I now have that conversation sooner rather than later. And I'm able to forget and I'm able to let go and I'm able to move on. And I'm not keeping that negativity inside of me anymore because it's not worth it. Because that's what builds up this devil energy for the Capricorn. That's what builds up that toxic energy, is when you hold on to those. Forgiving and learning, whether it's yourself or the other person, forgiving and saying, okay, we're all human. Looking at, was that person's intent malicious or was it just a mistake that somebody made, or and they didn't realize, right? um Forgiving and learning with yourself, like not speaking up or not, like, or choosing those relationships where you're physically attracted to someone and then you keep repeating those patterns. And then it's like forgiving yourself and say, well, it took me some time to learn that lesson, but now I know that moving forward, I want to have a different type of a relationship because those never worked for me. Forgiving yourself, learning from, those challenges that you had earlier and being able to move forward, feeling more confident and saying, this is what I want in a relationship. This is, whether it's a friendship or a partnership, that this is what I want my friendships to look like. This is what I want my family member relationships to look like. This is what I want my partnerships to look like. And following through with that. So I feel that that's very important, that, you stick with that and looking within and saying, right, stick with what you feel is important to you that represents true love, because your true love for yourself, because you're choosing the best relationships for yourself, and true love connection with that person because you're choosing someone that you're feeling that you can open up to, and that is that partner. And even if that doesn't work out, then you learn from each relationship that you have and how you can change it moving forward, right? It's learning about yourself and learning what type of relationships that you want to have in your life and sticking to that and not falling back onto old patterns. And if you see yourself falling back into old patterns, that you catch yourself and you change that, right? That you don't fall back into that. So let's close out with a whispers of love for Capricorn. Sometimes we just don't realize that, we need to be more aware of the relationships that we're choosing or adjustments that we need to make within relationships. We have back to what you love. Reevaluate your desires. That's kind of what I've been talking about, right? That maybe something that made you happy in the past, right? Not going back to old patterns, that maybe that physical attraction was great for a while, but reevaluate and say, where did that get me to, right? How long did that last? Like there's no more substance to the relationship, right? That you want more substance to the relationship, that you want someone that's emotionally available, that is going to communicate, that is going to fight for the relationship, just like you want to fight for the relationship. So with this card, it's back to what you love. Definitely with the Lovers card here, what do you love? Definitely loving yourself and reevaluate your desires. Again, this goes back to clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now, right? Reevaluate your desires. When you're clear about what you want, then that's what the universe can bring in for you, right? That you're clear that this is the type of relationship that I want. It may test you and bring in other relationships, and you're like, nope, that's not, that was the old me. The new me wants this. And this, I'm clear that this is what is important to me, and this is what I want my relationships to be. And having that learning lesson and working on this and empowering yourself and hearing the message and learning from the past, right? Looking within and fighting for what is important to you, because you are making your choices. You are making your decisions. You are choosing the relationships that you want to put your focus and work into, and you are choosing the relationships that you don't want, right? You are empowering yourself in that way, and that's what you have to realize. All right. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you're still hanging in there with me. I greatly appreciate that. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you have an amazing day. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.